How many of you know the feeling of being someplace that is at once very familiar and yet totally different from any place you've ever been? Chicago is a familiar place for me. Although for the past 40 years I've lived in Sacramento, the place where my husband Todd and I have raised our family and where we have been proud members of Congregation B'nai Israel, I am coming back to my roots when I come to Chicago. I grew up on the South Side, not too far from here, and went to religious school and sang in the junior choir at Beth Am in South Shore. My family moved to Evanston when I started high school, and we joined Beth Emmet. I'm not sure if my confirmation pictures is still up there, but if they're up there, mine is too. My father and stepmother still live in Evanston. Childhood, high school, and college friends are here, and I still follow Chicago sports teams from a distance. This podium is also a familiar place for me. I have been honored to serve as a Biennial Resolutions Committee chair and, in one of the best jobs in the reform movement, as the chair of the Commission on Social Action. I have stood before you speaking on topics that matter to me and to us as congregational leaders, community members, concerned citizens, and above all, as Reformed Jews. Those topics range from essential decisions about how we build strong and vibrant reform institutions to expressions of our most deeply held values of welcome and inclusion. There have been robust debates and moments of shared pride. I think back to 4 years ago, standing on the biennial stage in Orlando, as this body loudly and unanimously voiced its support for the rights of transgender and gender nonconforming people. What an electric moment that was. This morning, I'm inspired by the depth and breadth of our movement's visions and aspirations, by the fact that when we speak and when we act, we have the power to transform individual lives, the Jewish community, the faith community, and the broader communities of which we are a part. Just ask the parents of the transgender campers who find a welcoming and safe space in our summer camps. Speak to the new refugee who was sponsored for immigration to Canada by one of our congregations. And think of the formerly incarcerated individual who has had her right to vote restored, in part because of the commitment of our Florida synagogues. Our transformational impact can be seen at every level. Our impact will be felt as the reform movement mobilizes and votes in record numbers in the upcoming World Zionist Congress elections to ensure that our dreams for Israel and progressive Zionism become reality. Transformation can be seen in our synagogues as we face changing demographics and adapt our communities to meet the needs of those who have felt marginalized or other, or simply apathetic and uninvolved. It is seen in our programs for youth. It is seen in our trainings for synagogue leaders. It is seen in our conversations about what the future of Reform Judaism looks like. As I step into this new role, I am strengthened knowing that I have the resources I will need to help lead us into a new chapter of our story. I have a remarkable and supportive family, so many of whom are with me today. I have inspiring partners on the North American board and on the URJ staff, especially in Rabbi Rick Jacobs. And I have Daryl Messinger, Steve Sachs, and our other past chairs to lean on and learn from. And each of you also brings strength to these efforts. Throughout this biennial, you've been making your own commitments, telling us I'm in to help build the vital reform movement we want and the world needs. One of our teachers, Ruth Messenger, taught, "The creation of a more just society is all of our responsibility. It's how we can express our devotion to God, how we can create greater harmony in this broken world. It requires that we understand ourselves as responsible for the other, learn that our actions have consequences for those around us and for those on the other side of the world. We live our values, we honor God when we help those in need and work with them for greater justice in their lives. That work, the work of repair, of tikkun, is the work we are called to do. Tikkun in our synagogues, in our communities, in our countries, and in the world. And I know that if we are to succeed in that work, It will require all of us working together. That's how we give life to the words inscribed in our Torah. That's the work without which those words are just words. As Senator Paul Wellstone taught, if we don't fight hard enough for the things we stand for, at some point we have to recognize that we don't really stand for them. Friends, let's stand for things, great, powerful, and holy things. Let's fight hard for them, and let's do so together. Thank you.